Hello, everyone. It's Nigel Seeley here, and welcome along to the latest edition of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, the #1 tennis betting podcast brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. As I say, I'm Nigel Seeley. I'm over here in London, heading to Wembley after this podcast to watch England play Italy in the European Championship qualifier. Massive match for the Three Lions tonight, and it's another man who's heading to a sporting event very shortly. Is our man, our senior ATP Tour handicapper, is Sean Calvert, the informed Sean Calvert, who's over in Belgium, in Antwerp, to head to the tennis in the next hour or so. Sean, how are you doing, mate? How's Antwerp tweeting you? Tweeting you? I'm having a nightmare. Tweeting you. I've got Twitter on my brain.
It's tweeting me all right. But I have got a bit of a cold, which is, anyone that knows me will know that I'm not the bravest when it comes to these ailments. But it's a beautiful day. I don't know whether you saw my post on Instagram early on. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful, chilly but warm. But whenever you come to these sort of places, I've always found like some of the smaller places in Belgium and Holland, it's so quiet, especially when you come from. I know I don't live in London, but I lived in London for many years, and even Leon C is way busier than this. I went out for a stroll earlier on. I think I saw about 2 people. It's so quiet. It's if you ever want to come for a bit of relaxation, nothing going on, chill out, come to the Low Countries. There's nothing going on at all.
That sounds ideal for you, Sean, because I've been out with you a few times, and you're not really you like not many people around. You don't, it's good for you to see nobody.
I don't like it when it's that deathly quiet. I like it. I like a bit of something going on. I may not want to get involved in it, but I like there to be the option in case I do want to get involved in it. Here, I've only been here for less than half a day, so I don't know. And I'm staying just near the tennis, which is kind of the northeast of the city, so it's always going to be a bit quieter. I'll stroll into the city later on. I'm sure it'll be much busier there, but where I am there's nobody about at all.
Now, the most important thing, we've had some winners. We've had 2 winners yesterday. We're continuing our great form from the Asian swing. A winner over in Tokyo and a winner yesterday as well in Stockholm. You must have had a chauffeur-driven car pick you up after that winnings. You must have had some kind of private, Uber, like Uber XL or a luxury Uber or electric Uber or something. How did you get to this? And obviously, I can see you've gone for a better accommodation. It looks a lot better than some of the places I've seen you before in. So you've obviously splashed out a little bit more cash. How did you get from the airport to the venue?
Well, the airport. I flew to Amsterdam because I live by Southend Airport, and Southend fly to Amsterdam. So it's one of the shortest flights you'll ever have. It's so short, the flight, they don't even have time to do a food service because it's you're up and you're down. It's like 45 minutes, and then I got the Eurostar from Schiphol to the train station at Antwerp. Then I got a cab, and this is why I don't like getting cabs. 34. He tried to charge me 34 euros for what's basically a 5-minute drive. So I had to have the gloves on with him. I thought that would be his tip, given that you've had all these winners. 34. He doesn't know that, does he? I mean, he's just got the old Euro signs switched on. He's done me there. So at the end, I had to pay 30 because he wouldn't go down any more than that. But it should have been like about 15 euros. So this is a good example of why I get public transport. You don't get ripped off.
Well, talking of public transport, have you looked at the map? Have you looked at the way around Antwerp? Have you got your travel card, or you sorted that out? How's the best route around?
I haven't done that yet. It looks like trams. It looks pretty easy. I'll sort that out in a bit. But from here to the venue, it's like a 10-minute walk, so that's no problem. Then I'll get a tram later on. It's all fine. Don't worry.
No, I'm not. I'm just making sure. I thought you might be a little bit like going out, spending a few quid. Got a few quid in your back pocket. Winners galore. I think you might have a chauffeur driven there.
Chauffeur driven. When have you ever known me chauffeur drive anything anywhere?
You never know. Could be a change. Anyway, so you might see Sean's adventures in Antwerp on the social media account. If you go to Because We're Not Now Instagram account, you'll see Sean's adventures today at the tennis. He's also posted a video already for the Today's Order of Play. We're going to record this now. So we're recording this on Tuesday. This is for a Wednesday's play. If you want to look at Tuesday's play, you can head to the Twitter account and the Instagram account to see Sean's video. Probably a little bit too late by the time this goes live, but if there is any live action there, you can still follow it ongoing throughout the tournament on our socials. Okay, let's move on to the day's action. We're going to leave Antwerp for now. We're going to head over to continue that Asian swing over in Tokyo. And the first match we're going to talk about is Felix Auger-Alliasime. Now, that match is this evening, I believe, 11:20 p.m. Eastern time. So it's later on today, on Tuesday evening. Head to the Bet Rivers website. They have 28 different markets on this match. Felix Auger-Alliasime got through a tough match to end a real disappointing run of form. He's minus 295 today, up against a very, very good opponent in Sebastian Ofner, who's plus 225. The spread is 3.5 here, and the total is 22.5. Before you give us the breakdown on that match, Sean, what do you think of the conditions in Tokyo, of what you've seen on round one? Is it how we were expecting it to be, or is any surprises?
Yeah, it looks pretty quick to me. It's never great looking at it from the from a naked eye, so to speak. There's a few problems with my tech here, mate. Just bear with me a second.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it looks quick. Looks low bouncing. Actually, it doesn't look like it's bouncing at all. Tommy Paul is always a good one for commenting on conditions. He said it looks pretty quick. He said. And he said the balls are flying more than they were in Shanghai. They're a different ball. They're Dunlop AO balls. So they are flying a little bit more. But yeah, looks quick, looks low bouncing. Should suit the power players. But a few people have said it looks slow, but I don't think this is a slow court.
No, so conditions look as though we expected here. I'll tell you the one thing I am quite surprised about, the price on Ofner here, plus 225. I mean, Felix did get through against Vukic. It was a long match. He's been drastically out of form, as we said. He's going to slip down the world rankings. And Ofner is someone you usually expect to do well on the slower conditions, but he had a good win in his first round against O'Connell. And Ofner's, what I've seen from him this year, he's in form, got to the semi-finals. It's Astana, and he's available bigger than 2-1. That does look a big price to me.
Yeah, he's short again, isn't he, Ofner? That's a tougher out against Vukic in round one. Set one overs cash for us again. 2 tie breaks in that match. So that's now 12 opening sets in a row that have gone over 10 games for Felix. And 5 of his last 9 have gone to a tie break. So again, I'm looking at the same bet, but at the risk of repeating myself. And the 7-5 set against O'Connell in round one, hit 17 aces, won 82% of his first serve points. He also won 14% more second serve points than O'Connell in that match. So I think it's fair to say that, I agree with what he just said. He's improving on hard courts, beat Fuchsovic, Thiem and Bublik in Astana. I know it was slower there, but he's obviously performed well in the first round here against O'Connell. Obviously, they've never met before, so Felix doesn't know what to expect. That backhand for me, it's just not right. It was never great when he was at his best, so to speak, but it just seems to have dropped off. His rally tolerance isn't quite there, and I think the delayers just haven't factored in that Ofner is improving on hard courts. He had no sort of record on hard courts until quite recently, but those wins that I've just mentioned, they were very, very solid wins, as is the win against O'Connell. So I think, the 2.95 plus 195 that Bet Rivers are offering here, about over 10.5 games in set one is the bet. I think you have to. I mean, Felix is he's winning ugly, isn't he? Just about whenever he's winning, it's a real struggle, and I'm happy to take that same bet here.
Yeah, just to recap there, Sean's having a little bit of problems with the internet. Don't worry about it, Sean. You're just going in and out a little bit as you're speaking. But just to recap, the bet that Sean likes here is over 10.5 games in set number one. Felix Auger-Alliasime has played an awful lot of matches, a lot of games in the opening sets, and he looks set to continue against an improving Ofner. Plus 195 is over 10.5. The tiebreak in the first set, some people you may want to get a bit of that. It's plus 310, but the official pick for us here is over 10.5. Set one, Felix Auger-Alliasime against Sebastian Ofner, which is this evening at 11:20. Yeah, Sean, you're just going in and out of the connection here, so sometimes you might freeze. So if I ask you to recap at the end, it's because we've lost you.
Fine. I haven't. You haven't changed for me. I don't know whether it's just something that's...
Well, a lot of people say that I haven't changed over the years. It's very much for you to say, but I certainly have a lot less hair. But anyway, Tommy Paul.
Your video isn't stalling at all.
No, Tommy Paul is the heavy favourite against Mackenzie McDonald in the next match. Sean said on Sunday's show that he's quite keen on Paul's chances here to win this tournament. The line had moved significantly when we recorded the podcast, so he wasn't an official play, but the draws opened up in Tokyo. Obviously, our pick. And the only unfortunate thing for us in the last week or so is Kecmanovic has gone out early doors in Tokyo. So Tommy Paul here is a favourite. He's minus $2 up against Mackenzie McDonald, who is available at plus 160. Tommy Paul does lead the head-to-head 2-0, and he's won them fairly easy, really. In 2023 in Acapulco on a hard court, he won 6-2, 6-2. He lost the first set again in Acapulco in 2020, but he recovered to win 6-4, 6-4. Paul is coming in with some indifferent form, but he is the overwhelming favourite here. He's the higher ranked player. He's fancied to do well. He's coming in on a bit of form, and he's up against an opponent that he's got the better of twice before. Do you think Tommy Paul wins this fairly comfortably, or do you think Mackenzie McDonald can give him some kind of test?
I think Mackenzie should give him a test. I think this is quite a short price on Tommy Paul. That's why I've chosen this match as one to talk about. I just feel like the conditions is certainly that. I mean, yeah, he lost to Tommy Paul, as you said, on 2 occasions, but they were both in Acapulco, where it is slow and high bouncing, where you wouldn't think Mackenzie McDonald would be at his best. We've seen Tommy Paul struggle against Altmaier. I would have thought he would have won that fairly comfortably, but he had to go the full 3 sets in the end. So if we just look at the prices as well, McDonald, he's always motivated in Asia, as we've said. Tommy Paul was a 1.68 minus 147 chance when he won in Acapulco. Now he's 1.5 miles. So a lot shorter. And Mackenzie McDonald, if we actually look at the last 10 matches of both of these guys, the recent form, I know it's a small snapshot, but I think it is important at this time of the season. Tommy Paul, 40% win rate and a service points won, return points won, total of 99. McDonald, 50% win rate and a total of 104. The very recent form here, I think if you are having a bet in this, I think Tommy's just too short. I think he might win it in the end, but McDonald plus 2.5 games at 2.02 plus 102 Bet Rivers, or the over 22.5 games, which is 1.97 minus 103 Bet Rivers. I think those are the ones I'm looking at here.
Yeah, so over 22.5 games is minus 104. What was the other bet, Sean? You just cut in and out. What was the other bet you liked?
McDonald plus 2.5 games at 2.02 plus 102.
Plus 102. And that match also starts just past midnight this evening, early hours of Wednesday morning. So Thursday morning, is it? Hang on, what day are we on today? I keep getting the days mixed. It's Tuesday, isn't it today? Yeah, Wednesday. Early hours of Wednesday morning. 12:40 a.m. Wednesday morning. So Tommy Paul up against a test against Mackenzie McDonald, despite the head-to-head between the two of them as far as Sean is concerned. So no official pick on that one, Sean, just the official pick on the first match in Tokyo, just the over 10.5.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 10.5, Felix Auger-Alliasime, Ofner. First set is the official pick at plus 195. Tommy Paul, Mackenzie McDonald, a lean towards McDonald in many different markets, 28 different markets available on Bet Rivers. But we think the line on Tommy Paul at minus $2 is a little bit too high. And we think that McDonald will give him some problems. Now we're going across to Antwerp, where Sean currently is, and he'd be in attendance tomorrow watching these two matches. The first match we're going to talk about is a quite a interesting one, actually, as far as the betting is concerned. It's Botic van der Zandschulp, the home favourite, up against Dominic Stricker. Now, Stricker is obviously a massive server, plays a lot of tie breaks, famously played a very long match against Tsitsipas at the US Open, a match that I watched, went on for ages. It was boiling hot. I was sunburnt. It was absolutely an epic match, but he's got a massive serve, Stricker. Botic van der Zandschulp is minus 130. Stricker here is plus 105. The spread is 1.5. Botic van der Zandschulp giving up the 1.5 is minus 103. And the total here is 22.5. Now, look, considering that Stricker is such a big server, and considering that van der Zandschulp, in front of his home crowd, may want to put on a. No, he's not his home crowd, is he? He's from Holland. I thought we were in Holland for a minute. In Belgium.
It's next door. He doesn't tend to go well at home generally. Van der Zandschulp.
Yeah, I thought he might give him a test, but I thought the games were quite cheap at 22.5. But then you look at the record indoors this year. Dominic Stricker is 11-6. Botic van der Zandschulp is 1-2, and Stricker did beat him here in this tournament last year, 6-2, 6-4, and yet he is the underdog. I don't agree with these prices. I think Stricker should be the favourite. I'm judging by the fact that you want to speak about this match. You're thinking the same as me.
I'm kind of leaning that way. Yeah, I'm not wild about the price. Maybe I'm being a bit greedy on that, but I think I was initially thinking overs, tie breaks, but then I looked into what van der Zandschulp was break set in 43 sets over 16 matches against left-handers at main level in his career. One set. That's the only set that's gone over 10 games out of 43. So that's a strange one, considering Van der Zandschulp was a decent server, but doesn't play tie breaks at all. He's in level as Van der Zandschulp. Stricker has done nothing since his US Open breakthrough. A couple of poor losses. Has a wild card into his home event in Basel next week, so you would think he would want to tune up for that. And this court looks quick to me. I'm not seeing it firsthand yet. I will do in a couple of hours' time, but it looks fast from the videos that I saw yesterday. As you said, Stricker beat Van der Zandschulp last year, but he was a 3.95 chance that time. He won 83% of his first serve points, Stricker. He tends to start well. Van der Zandschulp, as we know, doesn't tend to start well. He's often very lethargic at the start of his matches. So the leans here, I mean, Stricker either to win the match or take Stricker to win set one at even money with Bet Rivers. I think that's where I'd be aiming my bets on this one.
Yeah, Stricker plus 105, even money to win the set one. No official pick because obviously the line is a lot different from when they met last year. But if we were given a little lean, we'd probably lean towards the Austrian rather than the Dutchman, who I thought was playing at home, but unfortunately isn't. But it's not far to go.
Stricker's Swiss as well, but it's close.
What am I doing? I'm having a nightmare today. I'm having a nightmare. I got Austria. I'm going to Austria next week. I'm thinking about Austria. You said what confused me there because you said he's got his home tournament next week. I'm thinking Vienna next week. I forgot Basel. And I'm thinking and I'm getting a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, let's quickly move on from that one because everything I've said about it, I've got it completely wrong. That's tomorrow at 4 a.m. The matches start there, so it's an early start tomorrow morning. We're not saying that match actually starts at 4 a.m., but the order of play starts at 4 a.m. We do not know the order of play as of yet. Another match tomorrow, again, start at 4 a.m. until the order of play comes on. It's Lennard Struff. He's up against Hugo Gaston. Lennard Struff is a favourite, minus 159. Hasn't played a lot of tennis recently against Gaston, who is plus 128. There is a huge amount of different markets on the website. 2.5 is the spread. Gaston is a favourite, minus 125, receiving the 2.5. And the total here, again, is 22.5. In Lennard Struff matches, she's the number 2 seed here. You like to be playing on the overs for me. They've met once before in Marrakesh in 2023. A tournament Sean was at. Gaston won, which is not a surprise on the clay. 3-6, 6-4, 7-5. He won on that occasion. So the overs easily cashed. The money has come for Struff, which surprised me really because he's on a 3-match losing run when he hasn't really looked like playing at all. But his level of opponent is a lot higher than what he's playing here. How do you see this one going, Sean?
Really, I don't think they'll suit Gaston. It looks, as I say, it looks like a quick court, so it should suit Struff. As you said, they played in Marrakesh earlier on this season. Gaston did manage to turn it around eventually, but he was overpowered earlier on, even on the clay. And you would expect the same here from Struff, who should be highly motivated. He's done really, really well this season. Obviously, in the quicker conditions, Madrid was one that people will remember. He's going to want to keep that ranking for the Australian Open. After everything he's done this season, he's had that injury. He's definitely going to be one who he's seeded for the Australian. So I feel like he's going to be motivated here. I'm not particularly surprised that Gaston beat Rinderknecht in round one. I have said on this show numerous times that Rinderknecht does have a problem against left-handers. And again, Gaston, being a left-hander, was able to beat Rinderknecht. Struck that similar sort of weakness. Lefty Forest. Absolute best here and come up with all the little box of tricks that he has. He's really going to have to play his A game, which we haven't seen. If we look at the stats at main level for this season, Gaston, 36% win rate, a total of 100. So statistic, I'm not massively keen on backing favourites, but Struff's usually a strong starter. I'm kind of tempted with the 1.71 minus 141 about him winning the opening set, or perhaps 2.5 games on the handicap here at minus 102. You feel like he can break him in these conditions. That would be my option there.
Sean, the line has got gradually worse as we can get on there. We really didn't hear hardly any of the thing there, so I apologise for the connection there from Sean in Antwerp. So just to give a little clarify from what we heard there, I think you're quite leaning towards Lennard Struff to win the first set at -141, and there was another bet you quite like, which we couldn't make out.
Struff -2. I'm not sure what's wrong with the line. It was.
Yeah, you really are struggling now. It's got a little bit worse as it's been going on. So the final match we're going to talk about is in Stockholm. It's Holger Rune -165 against Kecmanovic, who's +132. And this one is in Stockholm. So this will be the last match we're going to talk about it. And if we look at the head-to-head between the two of them, which I'm just about to find for you, let's have a look here. Stockholm, Holger Rune. Holger Rune is number one. So he's never met before, but he's obviously big injury concerns here. The money has come for Holger Rune despite him losing his last two matches against Dimitrov and Nakashima, which was a dreadful performance in Shanghai. This match is in Stockholm, Sean. If you want to just keep it quite short and give us your idea of the best pick in this match.
Yeah, so Rune obviously not in any sort of form. Lost 9 of his 10 matches since Wimbledon, of which he was favourite for 7 of them. His service points won, return points won total in his last 10 matches is just 95. Kecmanovic is on 99. He's not great form, but he's still. If anything, he's worse than those numbers. We know he's had the back injury. We know he split with Patoglu. Kecmanovic. If you are betting here, I think Kecmanovic is the option at +132. Bet Rib.
Yeah, we're losing you again, but Kecmanovic for Sean at +132 is the bet. -165 for Holger Rune. Holger Rune has had a whole host of problems on the court and off the court, not in any form whatsoever in Stockholm. And Kecmanovic is +132. So, Sean, the official pick, we got one in Tokyo, which is Felix Auger-Alliasime over 10.5 sets at +195, which seems absolutely massive. Is that the only official one? The rest are leans?
That's the official play, yeah.
So just one official pick from Sean. Felix Auger-Alliasime in that match on the overs in set 1 over 10.5 against in Tokyo. As I said earlier in the show, you can follow Sean's adventures in Antwerp. My adventures at Wembley this evening are on our Instagram account at Because We Win. Also, it's the same account as our Twitter account. We can share the brilliant content with all the fantastic handicappers we have. This soccer returns in Europe this weekend in the Premier League and across Serie A. All that will be covered on the shows. And also you can follow us on or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just ring the bell and you'll be alerted every time any content drops. And that channel is Betting Weekly Studios. Just give us a like on that, give us a review and subscribe and ring that bell. And every time anything fresh comes, you'll be notified. And download the podcast. Betting Weekly Game Bet Match is our podcast. You can get that on all your preferred podcast providers. Sean, yeah, you was in and out on the connection there. So we'll let you go now. Have a safe day and keep safe over there in Antwerp. Enjoy the tennis today, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow sometime to look at the action for Thursday. Have a good day, everyone, and let's keep that good run going. Keep cashing some tickets. Take care.